What is up? Welcome to the MMA Killshot podcast from DFS Army. We are back after the, 7 months off from MMA, and we got UFC Fight Night Ankalaev versus Walker 2. Get a rematch. Magomed Ankalaev, his thing is getting good at these rematches. Second time he has a rematch because of a fluke ending in a first fight. And
That's true.
He put an exclamation point on the last one. We'll see if he can do it against Johnny Walker. With me, as always, I'm Sniper. If I didn't say it in the beginning, is Monk. Monk, how was your time off? How was your holidays? You excited to be back? What are we doing?
Very much so. Good holidays. Got to do a little traveling, see some family. Been doing nothing but data entry on my end. Trying to get some more round by round stuff in. Lots more stats for you guys, but I'm definitely looking forward to this card, especially a couple of fights. There's one fight in particular on here where, oh my goodness, I just cannot wait for it, and we will get into it.
Awesome. If you're first time with us, first of all, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. We're going to break down UFC Fight Night Ankalaev versus Walker 2 from pretty much every perspective, probably a little bit heavier on the daily fantasy and DraftKings side, but I'll mix in some bets I'm looking at, break down the fights, have a good time, talk some shit, talk some stats, and let's jump right into it. The main event of the evening. It is Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. Ankalaev is minus 550. Walker is plus 400 on DraftKings. Ankalaev is 9,400. Walker is 6,800. Monk, you know what? You've been waiting a long time. Take it away. You were first this week.
Hey, all right. Unfortunately, not really a main event I'm going to be targeting a ton of, I don't think. I'm probably thinking Ankalaev wins this one. He was pretty much dominating for about 3 minutes before the crazy ending there. And he just doesn't score well. Only 94.25 points per win. And he's had a ton of 5-round fights, or at least a few. Yeah, he has a decent floor, so I don't mind him for cash. But even then, what's his salary? Aren't we at like 9,400? Yeah, that seems to be way too much for me. Although Johnny Walker basically has one of two options. I talked about this on another show. If he can locate a time machine somehow and go back to when he was much more unpredictable, this would benefit him greatly in this fight against Ankalaev. But if he's just going to be more technical, which has its advantages, but in this fight and for this fighter specifically, I don't think it works in his favor. So Ankalaev, honestly, I'm kind of shaming his DraftKings stuff, but if he can get this done in the first or the second round, maybe a takedown and some ground and pound, I mean, he could score okay. And Johnny Walker's path to victory is obviously an early bonk on Ankalaev, probably doing some crazy shit. So I guess I let off. I talked myself into kind of liking this fight a little bit for DraftKings, but there will be many more fights and fighters I'm targeting over Ankalaev Walker. I don't mind Walker as a punt play, and Ankalaev, I will have some of him in GPPs, but again, I'm going to be pretty low. But I think this probably finishes a little early. I just don't know how he scores.
Yeah, I'm a little higher on the fight overall for DraftKings because I think around it there are some fighters I'm more confident, but I'm not loving some of the upside here. And one guy who I think was really good upside, it's a debuting fighter, and can I really go slam him? So I'm going to end up on plenty of Magomed Ankalaev. I wish he'd go back to the wrestling. He's got a huge wrestling advantage here. He can win this however he wants. He's got the upside. We've seen Walker knocked out. We've seen Walker grappled. Ankalaev can win this any which way. And he's not even the most expensive fighter in the card. He's the third most expensive fighter. I'll be plenty of Ankalaev here. Go ahead, mix in Walker for punt plays because I'm only picking one dog straight up on this card. Stay tuned. We'll see who that is. There are some other DraftKings viable spots, but not a ton of dogs I'm digging, so I'll take some shots at Johnny Walker. No problem there. I don't think there's any value in this main event betting-wise any which way. Other spots for me to bet on the card. All right, let's talk about the next fight of the evening. We're going to talk co-main event, Manel Kape, 9,000, taking on Matheus Nicolau at 7,200. Line on this fight, Kape is minus 275. Nicolau is plus 235. And guess what? This is also a rematch. These two have already fought. Matheus Nicolau's already won. He's a bigger underdog than he was the first time. Now, why is that? Well, Manel Kape was making, I think it was his second UFC fight when they fought the first time. Still settling in. He's looked pretty good. And you know me. How many times have I screamed on this podcast? Rematches never play out the same way.
Right.
I'm actually picking the underdog. I'm going against that here. The problem
Oh,
is they fought to a split decision. He's a bigger underdog this time. We know Kape. I mean, he's got power for flyweight, but relying on a flyweight for power, even though he has some, no thanks. He predominantly wants to strike. He's not going to grapple. Outside of landing that bomb in the first round, I don't think he scores very well. We know Nicolau. He's got some. The first fight was close. It's one of those either guy wins. It's not a robbery. But Nicolau could have some grappling success. Kape isn't going to run away from him on the feet. If Nicolau has a good day and Kape isn't on all his P's and Q's, Nicolau could win a decision. I think he's got multiple paths to victory. I don't love the upside from Kape. If I'm going to do anything in this fight, I'm going to take the stab on Nicolau. This is the dog I'm picking right here in the co-main event, and it's not one I'm like all in on. It's one of those we're going to build exposures, and Nicolau will be up towards the top because he's the dog I'm picking clearly. And betting wise, if you're going to take a stab on this fight, for me, it definitely would be the price tag on Matheus Nicolau, the highest of which around. If I go to look, you can get him at plus 235 on Bet Online. So, yeah, give me Nicolau. Monk, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm not gonna pick Nicolau in this one. Although I did used to be a big Nicolau guy. He just looked so unimpressive against Brandon Royval, who looked equally, I won't say unimpressive. I guess he had his moments against Pantoja, but I just think Kape's going up, man. Let's just say this is the last time, and I haven't been doing it a lot. But if Kape loses to Nicolau, he's not on the upward trajectory that me and several other people think that he might be on, including himself, for the flyweight strap. So if he loses this one to a decent fighter in Nicolau, I will kind of, lower him a little bit. My only thing with Nicolau is, and yeah, I know he's only 7,200, but guys, he scored 57 points against David Dvorak. And even if you win a fight at 7,200 and you score 50, I mean, I guess there's a Montana De La Rosa way to get on the optimal lineup that way, but yikes, that is a super low score. Before that 77, before that 70. He did put up 110 against Matt Schnell, but he finished that fight. So I'm not expecting Manel Kape to get finished here, and therefore I don't think Nicolau will score well in a decision. But again, salary so low, it might not matter. However, I do think Kape, his path to victory is there. I think he'll be more athletic, and I think Nicolau will be the one kind of running away from Kape, in my opinion. Nicolau loves to run. Unless you can catch, if you can catch him with a jab or just get him to stay put, that's where he is at his most vulnerable. Kape scores very well, 3.5 points a minute, over 100 when he wins. And he's like the 5th most expensive fighter this week. So I don't think that's bad at all. Maybe even 6th. So yeah, in fact, 2 people above him, one of them has 6 professional fights overall. And let's see, I don't remember who the other one is. One of them, I forget, is Marcus McGhee. That's what it was. So yeah, couple, not much experience in guys above him. So give me Manel Kape at 9K. I don't mind that spot.
There's a bunch of guys more expensive. You got John Silva at 96, Cortes-Acosta at 95.
Well, I know, but who
you mean right above? Yeah. No, I got you.
Who's worth it? Tom Nolan is more expensive than him. Dude has 6 pro fights.
I'm going to make a case for one of them in there that it's going to make some fight fans cry, but we will get there. All right, let's move on. Speaking of fight fans who've been around, this fight is, I mean, if you've been around this more than 5 years, and you know I'm talking about Jim A10 Miller here. 8,200 taking on Mowgli Benitez, also a guy who's been around forever. A lot of just a good veteran fight. I'm looking forward to this one. 8,200 and 8,000 of the salaries here. Miller's up to minus 150. Come back on Benitez is plus 130, so a little bit of odds value. For DraftKings, Monk, you got this one first.
Yeah, give me Jim freaking Miller, man. 42 fights in the UFC. And how do I know that off the top of my head? Because I just entered every single one of them, every round into my database yesterday.
By the way, guys,
he's goddamn day.
He's not super declining either. Those last 5 fights you entered, wins. He's 4-1 in his last 5. Now, one of them, I mean, he knocked out a guy who should be bagging groceries, but still, he's 4-1 in his last 5 UFC fights. It's not nothing.
Exactly, man. And I saw this booking and I panicked because this seems a little close to UFC 300. And if Jim Miller is not on UFC 300, we're going to riot. I mean, that is just that would be insane. So
backstory, because I saw one of on MMA Twitter, I saw one of Fury's Fight Picks tweets that the average MMA fans like lifespan is about 5 years. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but say that is true. There are people who don't know that Jim Miller was on UFC 200, and that's why this is cool. And there are people who don't know that, oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, he was on UFC 100.
Exactly.
Dude's been around fucking forever. If you are not familiar and you're relatively new, like, and he's fun. He's a good dude.
He's fun. Also,
doesn't have Lyme disease anymore.
I was gonna say that's one of the more impressive things. It's up there. Well, it's below Bisbing with one eye, but doing anything with Lyme disease seems ridiculous. But fighting for almost a whole career or a good portion of it with Lyme disease is ridiculous. So shout out obviously to Jim Miller. How could I pick against him? Gabriel Benitez has been around a while. However, as you said, Jim Miller 4-1 in his last 5. Yes, one guy was Jesse Butler. We'll just, X that one out. But Gabriel Benitez, his only wins, he's 2-3 in his last 5. His 2 wins are against Charlie Ontiveros and Justin James. If you don't remember, Justin James supposedly put his entire fight purse in his last UFC fight on himself, and he lost and got kicked out of the UFC. So that's always funny to me. But yeah, give me Jim Miller.
I'm sure he thinks it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I'm totally biased on this one. I'm picking Jim Miller. Honestly, he can get it done anyway. And look, I heard this on somebody else's show, and I went back and looked at it, and they're totally right. The more he offensively wrestles, the more he gets tired. And lately, he hasn't been doing that. He's kind of just been defensively wrestling when needed and kind of improving his striking. So I love that out of Jim Miller, even in his 40s, proves that you can still change your ways and get shit done. So yeah, give me A10 Jim Miller here.
Yeah, he's got multiple paths here. That's why I think he's live. The striking is going to be close. I do slightly favor Mowgli there, but Jim Miller's got the wrestling, the BJJ, the clinch game. I think he's more well-rounded. That's why I have to nudge him towards the pick. That's where I would go for a bet if I was betting on this fight. And on DraftKings is that line value. I mean, we said it all here. It's got the wrestling upside. Benitez to get the optimal needs a KO, and it's not impossible to knock out Jim Miller. I don't see it from Mowgli here. Other spots I like. For me, Miller is the play. Next fight up, we're going to move on to Ricky Simón. He's 8,600, taking on Mario Bautista at 7,600. I feel like this is the fight Monk is super excited about. I could be wrong. Simón is minus 185. Bautista is plus 160. Ricky Simón is a relentless grappler. He will make you look silly unless your name is Song Yadong. See what I did there to your boy? Coming off a rough outing in his main event performance. And look, Simón didn't look great, but Song looked really good. Song looked really, really good. So it's a good bounce back spot here. I think the UFC is setting him up for a bounce back spot. He takes on Mario Bautista, who has won, he's won 5 fights in a row, and he's 7-2 in the UFC. The problem is, his wins are against, actually, I should say, I think the Blackshear win is decent. Although that when Blackshear fought twice in like 9 days.
He cut weight twice in 7 days.
But so he beat him. He beat Guido Canetti, Benito Lopez, Brian Kelleher, Jay Perrin. Not the best wins on there, but to Batista's credit, he does what you're supposed to do. Why I'm picking Simón outside of just wiki capping is that relentless forward pressure. He moves forward, he'll grapple, he'll score. He should put up a big number and look really good. I, however, do like both sides of this fight for this reason. And I'm going to be higher on Simón at his price tag, but I do think Bautista is a more live dog than people will tell you. Just gauging on what, the couple things I've seen since I finished my notes yesterday or Wednesday. So I've actually listened to a few podcasts before this one, which I usually don't do. Simón's going to come forward. We've seen old man Uriah Faber knock him out. You can get at him. His pressure forward style, which makes him fun to watch and good on DraftKings, can leave him open and leave options for Bautista. I just think Batista's going to struggle backing up the whole time. That being said, he has pop, and if Ricky Simón makes a mistake, or Ricky Simón did get beat up pretty good in that fight. Like, let's see him bounce back mentally. Now he bounced back fine after the Faber one, but there's a difference between a 6 second or however quick Faber knocked him out and Song just beaten on him for 5 rounds. Let's see how he comes out. If he's not the same guy, I think Bautista is a decent prospect. And again, there's some really gross underdogs on this card. So Simone's style just makes us a good one to target both sides of. But he is my preferred play. Monk, tell us why you love Ricky Simone.
Yeah, same thing. And this was my fight that I'm mostly looking forward to. I just love Ricky's fight style. 4 of his last 5, he's made the optimal lineup. And of course, he didn't in that Song fight, or at least I don't think. Only scored 36.
No, he did not.
No, he did not. I had to double check though. But yeah, offensively, I mean, these two are, in the top 5 on the card as far as scores per minute. And overall scores, basically 111.7 for Ricky in his last 5 wins. Overall, he also allows far fewer points than Mario Bautista does at 1.46 per minute compared to 2.77. 2 fantastic numbers, but one of them almost half of the other here. And the last thing, Ricky Simone scoring 7 points a minute inside the distance. Like you said, relentless grappling, allowing just 1.6 per minute inside the distance. Batista's no slouch there, though. 5.41 offensively. He does allow 3.5 per minute, though, inside the distance, which is concerning if you're a Bautista backer in this one. Love both guys' DraftKings points per win. As I said, both guys have pretty good. Well, Ricky Simone has a good floor. Mario Bautista far less or far smaller floor than Simone. Last thing I'll say, it's that strength of schedule. 10 points better the way I calculate it for all their UFC fights is Ricky Simone compared to Mario Bautista. Both of them do have a shared opponent in Brian Kelleher. Doesn't really mean much. Both guys score very consistently over 100 points as well. So again, get either one of these guys. Your lineups don't have a problem with Bautista. I even see, like you said, his path to victory. I don't think this is a guarantee for Simone, although I will be rooting for him. And like you, I will have more ownership on Ricky as well.
Let's move on. Let's talk about Bruno Ferreira at 8,300, taking on Phil Hawes at 7,900. Line on this fight, I'll tell you why I'm laughing in a second. Ferreira's minus 125, Hawes is plus 105. I'm laughing because to me this is a fight of who's less reliable. So Monk, your question answer: who's less reliable?
I'm going. Well, I have 2 dogs on this card, and Phil Hawes is one of them over Bruno Ferreira. This is a coin flip, complete coin flip. I really don't have. Phil Hawes should be the better fighter overall. I mean, his skills should be better everywhere for the most part, especially wrestling. Will he wrestle? Who knows? And his chin is god awful. Now we've seen Bruno Ferreira rock Gregory Rodriguez in the first round, so we immediately saw his power, and then we saw how he doesn't have much of a chin either against Nursultan just a few 6 months later. So
Ruzaboyev is a problem, though. That guy's going to be a problem. But yeah,
and also guys with bleach blonde hair, I really don't back. But his 3 losses, I mean, they're decent. Chris Curtis, my guy Roman Dolidze, and Ikram Aliskerov, who everyone is saying is the next big thing. So I don't know. I'm just going to go with Phil Hawes here. Really, it's a coin flip. Whose chin is worse, like you said. Also, really, we can't. Is DC calling the fights this week? I tried to get this verified last night.
I don't know yet.
Because if he is, he's doing the in-ring interviews, right? And we all know what happened last time Phil Hawes won and DC interviewed him. We got to get round 2. I need Phil Hawes to be interviewed by DC after his win over Ferreira. So we can't get there unless Hawes wins. So I'm picking Phil Hawes.
If I had to guess, I bet you DC's not doing it.
He's probably doing the next pay-per-view.
We got a pay-per-view next week.
So we're not going to get it. I know.
Probably not.
Damn it.
Maybe Phil Hawes will shoot on Michael Bisping. That could be fun.
Ooh, there we go.
Or
just
Paul Felder. Paul
right
Felder would put him in his place. By the way, side note, hot take: Paul Felder's the best color guy in the UFC. I've been saying it for years.
100% agree.
Like, don't think it's close.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think it's close. This fight, literal coin flip, just like you said. Both guys coming back from recent visits to the Shadow Realm. Eye test, I think Bruno's actually a little better, but it's close. I've seen Phil be consistently inconsistent. I'm going off of one performance against Ruzaboyev for Ferreira. Maybe he was taking the guy too lightly. Maybe he was high. Maybe he needed that loss. All those things. I've seen Phil Hawes be more consistently turn up shitty performances. So I lean towards Ferreira, but it's a play both sides in DraftKings and betting wise. Just don't. I mean, why?
Yeah.
apply. If you want to take a stab at one of these guys by KO, sure, because you'll get some plus money because it's. But
really, you'll get plus money.
yeah, because it's basically a pick 'em fight. So you add in the exact method of victory, you'll get it. Bill Hawes is plus money to win straight up. Ferreira is is minus 125 straight up. So if you add in KOs, that's what I mean. If you're gonna pick one of these guys, that's what it like. Ferreira by KO is plus 125. Hawes by KO is plus 185.
Yeah, you go Hawes there. You go Hawes there.
I don't, but those are the betting spots I would consider.
Plus 125 for a knockout? Get the fuck out of here.
Both these guys, whatever. Whoever they fight next is going to knock them out, probably.
Yeah, right. Put Ferreira against freaking Jordan Wright. Then we'll settle this once and for all.
That's true. All right, this is the fight. Oh, I messed up my markers here. I'm trying to mark in StreamYard. It's giving me a problem. There we go. Marker created for the next fight. It's Waldo Cortes-Acosta, 9,500, taking on Andre Arlovski at 6,700. Line in this fight, Waldo Cortes-Acosta is minus 750. Arlovski's plus 550. This is the fight. I alluded to it earlier that I said could upset some hardcore fans. We finally have seen the end of Arlovski, guys. Like he's toast. He's Father Time is undefeated. He's been around forever. When you get knocked out by Don'Tale Mayes, that's it. Let's move on. Let's pack our shit up. His last two wins are Jake Collier, which, by the way, didn't win that fight. Terrible decision. He should be on 3-fight skid. And Jared Vandera. Look, and Waldo Cortes-Acosta is for real. Leg kicks, front kicks, knocked out Brzezinski last time. I didn't see that coming. I thought he was going to volume him to death, but
neither did Brzezinski. He fucking flipped around backwards.
That was crazy. Look, he got wrestled by Rogerio de Lima. I don't think Arlovski's going to be able to do that to him. Acosta is a good prospect. I think he wins here. I think Salsa Boy, who better be up there on your nickname rankings, by the way, he better be up there.
He's up there, but there is a clear winner this week. All
right, I'll have to try and take note, but Salsa Boy's a solid one. I think he's live for a finish against giant-headed Arlovski. So 9,500, I do like him. I'm going to pass on Arlovski, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It beats me, but that's one of the stands I'm taking. Monk, how about for you?
Yeah, same here. I was going to say his head, you said giant head. His head looks like a freaking pumpkin, dude. I just downloaded the artwork for the show I'm doing later. I was like, Jesus, man, am I even going to be able to get this on the screen? It was freaking gigantic. He's done, man. And again, we mentioned Jim Miller. He's been around since UFC 100. Well, you know who's been around longer than that? Andre freaking Arlovski. He's been around so long that the betting line history doesn't even go back to I can only 13 of his fights aren't recorded for a betting line. So that's how far back he goes. But long story short, I think I don't think Cortes. I mean, he might be the real deal. He could be. But I don't think Arlovski stands much of a chance here. I think Cortes-Acosta is a great cash play. I think he is a great GPP play too at 9,500. You don't want to pay up for Mr. John Silva. And, you don't want to pay for Tom Nolan. Maybe Cortes-Acosta is your guy here. Barring a miracle, I think he gets it done, and I think he gets it done inside the distance. I mean, Arlovski used to be unable to be, finished for the most part, and it's 2 in a row to Rogerio de Lima and Don'Tale Mayes. So, yeah.
I'll almost give him a pass on de Lima because it was submission, right? Wasn't that a submission?
Yeah, it was a submission, but it happened in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, but it's one of those, okay, you got grappled. Like, if you're going to beat Arlovski, we've seen that happen before, but
yeah,
Don'Tale Mayes is...
He humped a guy to death.
God, I love him for that. He's my favorite, one of my favorite fighters because of that. Like, you know what? That's the definition.
He beat the GOAT. He wrecked John Jones' arm.
That's the definition of creative striking.
Yep. Shoulder strikes.
By the way, John Jones is a fucking joke.
Yeah, this shit is ridiculous.
Go through his Twitter. You're a joke, John. I know you're not watching this, but you're a joke.
Stipe. Who wants? I actually saw a comment that was
I
like,
want
no, all I
Stipe
want
for
to
my
see
legacy.
is the Stipe fight. I'm like, wow, here's the one guy who actually wants that fight to happen.
Nobody wants that fight.
Nobody cares.
Nobody. If you're gonna beat up has-beens, John Jones, do me a favor, and then I'd be fine with it. Go beat up Conor McGregor. Go make that shit show fight in Ryzen. I'd watch that. Support John Jones in that fight. He's another fucking clown.
Right.
Announcing the Chandler fight. God, Jones and McGregor went from potential goats to just jokes. Just jokes.
Really did. Could you imagine if Anderson Silva did some shit like that? Jesus.
I want to say nobody boxed Jake Paul, but whatever.
Yeah.
Not
He
as
also
bad as
knocked
these
out Tito Ortiz. Let's go.
That was fun. Good. Tito getting knocked out is fun.
Tito throwing those punches, I'll never forget.
I don't always agree with Dana White, but when I do, it's about how much of a dickhead Tito Ortiz is. And we got really sidetracked. Let's dive back in.
Yeah.
Let's talk Matthew the Jedi. The semi the Jedi. Matthew Semi the Jedi. Semelsberger. 8,400. Taking on Preston Parsons at 7,800. Line on this fight. We have, the fuck is it? There you are. Oh, it's Pick'em. It's closed. We got a little bit of value here on Parsons. Semelsberger minus 115. Come back on Parsons minus 105. Monk, you are first.
Yeah, try saying Preston pressure Parsons 5 times fast. That'd be pretty difficult.
Preston, I have a stupid nickname Parsons. Preston's, I have a stupid nickname Parsons. Preston. Sorry.
It's a pick 'em here. I don't trust either guy, so I'm going with actually, I guess I have 3 dogs. I'm picking the dog straight up. Mr. Parsons. He seems tough. He also scored 50 points against Officer Giles in a loss. And according to Just Stats, that fight was much closer. Actually, it was a split, so I can't say much closer. But he might have done a little more offense, we'll just say, than Giles did. He beat Evan Elder before that, scoring 108 points. Lost to D-Rod, who's still undefeated in jail and in the streets in his debut fight. Semelsberger,
just say that.
That's what Daniel Rodriguez says about himself.
Oh, God.
That's what he says about. He's 200-0. You haven't heard?
No, I've heard.
Yeah, Semelsberger.
Our sport is full of characters. How do we have a sport where the NFL players are better behaved than our guys?
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of Manel Kape, we'll get him if he wins. We'll get him back on the mic again. We all know what happened last time. Manel Charlie Radke Kape over here.
That was Charlie Radke. There's some good ones.
That was the same card, by the way. The same card. It was almost back-to-back fights. 2 F-bombs, and I don't mean the ucking. It was brutal.
Yep.
I don't even know what. I was going on about Semelsberger. He's 0-2 in his last 2.
Let's not lose this fight. This is an important one for DraftKings.
It is actually. But he started off quick, started off well, but did not look good against Medic in the last, what did that last 12 minutes? Last 3 or 4 minutes of that fight didn't look good. End of round 2 and all of round 3. I don't know. I think the longer this fight gets extended, the more problems Semelsberger is going to have. What a great head of hair, though. But I am picking Preston Pressure Parsons to get the decision win here. And as far as DraftKings goes, what are we at here? 84 and 78. This is a great mid-range fight. I think you should target it. Not so much for cash because I really don't know who's going to win. If you have a side, then you can obviously play that. But I think it's a good fight for GPP. Semelsberger's a bit up and down with his scoring against Jake Matthews, who put up 102, against AJ Fletcher, 62. And as I said, Parsons scored 108. So I think the lanes are there for either guy to score well. But I'm going to have more Parsons, which benefits me because he's cheaper and the line value is there kind of. So yeah, give me Parsons.
What's funny is that this is striker versus grappler to me, and Parsons is the grappler. I should pick him. The problem is I don't know how he's going to deal with the forward pressure of Semelsberger. That's my problem.
Big in the first round.
And that's why I'm picking Semelsberger. I just think he's going to be on the front foot going forward, more volume. Parsons could very well win the 3rd round again, but Semelsberger is live for a big finish. It's going to have more strike, and Parsons can be hit. I don't like his striking defense at all. So that's what's weird, because Parsons, if he finds a takedown, maybe he hits a reactive shot. And I hope that's what he's working on, is those moving backwards or reactive type takedowns. Because if he gets one of those, he's in good shape here. But I haven't seen it yet, so I have to pick Semelsberger. Betting wise, I honestly would probably bet this fight to go to decision. It's probably where I would go with it, which right now is fight goes distances plus 145. That's why I like that. Is you get the plus number on it going to decision. Semelsberger has a lot of volume. Yeah, it's tough because Parsons is in danger every minute on the feet. So I'm going to lean towards Semelsberger. This is, we rank everything in DFS Army. Make sure you join up there, see all the cheat sheets, all that good stuff. Got links below. But we give star rankings to each of the fights. I gave 3 fights a 5-star rating on this card. And we've talked about all of them. Bautista, Ferreira, Hawes, And this is the third one, Semelsberger Parsons, which, by the way, those are all mid-range salary fights too. So we got
exactly. Mid-range is heavy this week.
Got a lot of good options here. And Jim Miller got bumped down just because of the rest of how solid the rest of the mid range is, but he's a good option too. So mid range is where it's at. But let's move on. Let's talk about Marcus McGhee at 9,100, taking on Gaston Bolanos at 7,100. McGhee, a line on him is minus 230. The comeback on Bolanos is plus 190. I'm first for this one, and I don't care how long I've seen Marcus McGhee fight. I have to mention it every time. You could tell me Marcus McGhee is 50 or 16, and I'd be like, yeah, it makes sense. You know how he looks so old and so young that like you just no idea how to guess the dude's age. It's amazing. I think McGee's a much better prospect. He packs big power. I think his wrestling defense will hold up here against Bolanos. He's not a guy I'm looking at. There's other options. Like I got Nicolau in this price range. Johnny Walker's in this price range. Even Nicolas Motta, who we're going to talk about later. At least he's facing a debuting fighter. I think McGhee is just better here. And then it becomes a problem. Well, McGee's better, and he hits like a goddamn truck. So it's one I have to look out for GPPs. I'm not going to be probably going to be about field weight to McGhee. I'll use our ownership exposures and just kind of vanilla this one. But McGee's not a guy I want to have beat me because when he lands, he hits hard. So give me McGhee as the pick here. GPP only fight. Bolanos not getting much love. And if you want to take a stab on this, I'd probably find that McGhee wins by KO prop. Monk, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going McGhee here. The same as you. I'm going to show him a little bit more love as far as my how much I'm drafting him, though. So I will have him in GPPs. I will have him in, and I'm not saying you didn't shit on him. I'm just saying I'll be a little bit above, I think, where you were saying about field weight. So yeah, I think he's even fine for cash. He has a terrible strength of schedule. He's fought JP Bays and Journey Newsom. Gaston Bolanos, a little worse, though. He's only fought Aaron Phillips, and he scored just 64 points in that decision win here. So I agree. I think McGhee has the path to victory. I think he might be a sneaky play because not a ton of people, the casual fan, probably doesn't know even who he is, to be completely honest. They're going to say 9,100. What the hell? Maybe they're looking at, somebody more expensive than that. Who knows? So yeah, I Manel Kopp's at 9K. I assume he'll get a lot of love. So yeah, I'm going to be a little bit over Marcus McGhee, and I think he gets it done over Gaston Bolanos this week.
I like it. Moving on, I'm not going to waste too much more time on that fight. Let's go with Farid Basharat, 8,900, taking on Taylor Lapilus at 7,300. The line on this fight, McGhee is Basharat is minus 280. Comeback on Lapilus is plus 240. Monk, you got it first.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Farid Basharat here. I don't know.
You don't sound enthused.
I've seen a lot of people very confident on him, but I've also seen people more confident on Taylor Lapilus as well. I just don't know if I see it from the Lapilus side. I'm going to go with Basharat here. He's been doing nothing but scoring very well. He has fought Cledson Rodriguez and then Damone Blackshear. Both of those I think are very good wins. He put up 111 in a submission win over Rodriguez there, and 81 against Blackshear. Lapilus lost to Eric Perez 3 fights ago, has since beaten, I guess that was in 2015. 2016 he had a win, and then 2023 he just came back in September against the newcomer Cowlin Loughran. So only scored 64 points there. I think defensively he's might be sound, but if Basharat can get him down, I think this fight might I don't know, because it's weird though. Lapilus was controlled for 43% of the time against Loughran, and he won the fight. He was controlled 43% of the time back in 2016 against Issa. He won that fight. He's always getting out controlled, and he's always winning the fight. I think Basharat's a little different of an animal here, and I'm going to give the lean to Basharat in this one. He scores damn near 4 points a minute. I think he can get it done, and maybe even, I don't know about inside the distance, but I think he wins the decision for sure.
Yeah, I actually think Lapilus is a dog people are going to look at, and I think Basharat's the all-around better fighter. I think he's got good takedowns, better striker. I'm probably going to go underweight on Lapilus for leverage. I wrote something in my notes. I said I bet at least one coach picks Lapilus. Let's see if I'm
Oh,
right
yeah.
so far. We're the only two of us put in. Vince is not, so it's on Gino or Eric. We'll see if one of them.
Yeah, it
'Cause
won't be me.
Opinions from 5 guys. I'm gonna go out and just kind of spoiler alert. One coach. I'm looking for an underdog play. I could shout out from another coach since I'm here. Vince has taken Gaston Bolanos. Okay. Oh, he's taking Mowgli Benitez though. Fuck you, Vince. No.
Boo.
Yeah, so no, fuck you. Fuck that.
Boo.
Just at a principle. I don't even care about the fight breakdown. It could be a totally valid breakdown, but boo. Look, I just think Basharat is better, and that's really it. And 8,900, I think, is going to get lost in the shuffle a little bit. I think Basharat's a fine parlay piece. I like him a lot. I think he's just a better prospect. So that's who I'm going with. Next fight up, let's talk about Jean Silva at 9,600, taking on Weston Wilson at 6,600. The line in this fight, Jean Silva is minus $1 billion, anywhere between 900 and minus 1,300, whatever book. Weston Wilson 600 plus 600 to plus 700. Here's the thing. Silva's the better fighter, but paying minus 1,300 for a UFC debutant, it's fucking disgusting. I just can't do it, guys. I mean, I'm gonna a little bit maybe in GPPs, but yeah, I know Weston Wilson isn't good, but I'm gonna have a little bit. The line is just all weird. And speaking of weird, Weston Wilson fights weird. He's an awkward dude to try and figure out. He's just goofy. I don't know. Silva wins. I'll take more stabs on Wilson. In this fight, betting wise, just stay away. No thank you with these lines with Weston Wilson versus a debuting fighter. Like, you can find leverage spot here. You're a better man than me. I'm just at minus 1,300. Gosh, go buy a Happy Meal. Fucking cares. Like, yeah, give me Jean Silva. And again, I'll reiterate because I'm just spraying nonsense here because this salary and odds have me way off. I'll be underweight to Silva and a little bit over to Weston Wilson, who's going to get like 5% ownership probably. Monk, what do you got?
Yeah, same here. Like, I think Silva wins. He's part of the Fighting Nerds camp with Kyle Bahayo. So I think he gets it done. Also, the outright winner, the guy who I alluded to, Lord Assassin is his nickname. Does he assassinate lords or is he the Lord of the Assassins? Who cares? Either way, that's badass. Just like the Mongolian murderer. Either way you look at it, it's badass. So yeah, John Silva, Lord Assassin. Meanwhile, Weston Wilson doesn't even have a nickname. But Silva fought Kevin Vallejos, back in Dana White Contender Series fight. And if you put DraftKings scoring on that, he decisioned that fight and would have only scored 70 points. And now you're about to pay, what, $9,600 for him, minus 1,300 going against a shitty, albeit still, Weston Wilson. I mean, guys, you can't, like you said, I'm going under on John Silva, and I'm gonna go just a skosh over on Wilson, even though I think he has no chance. I won't say no chance. I don't know shit about John Silva, so he has a very small chance. I will give Weston Wilson here, but the pick is Silva. But I don't want to pay 9,600. I want to see what he does first.
No shot. That's what you. I'm really old. Sorry, guys.
No chance.
I'm really old. Moving on to that debuting fighter we've kind of alluded to a few times. Tom Nolan, 9,200, take on a Nicolas Motta at 7,000. The line in this fight, Nolan is minus 350. Motta is plus 285. Monk, you get it first.
Well, I don't know much about Tom Nolan. An interesting nickname. This could go either way. Big Train. I don't know if I like that or if I don't like it. I think I like it.
100% that's what he calls his dick. And
I was going to say Big Train.
He's like, I need a nickname. What do I call my junk? I know.
A lot of train fighters lately. It was, who was it? The fight, UFC Austin. Oh, Jared Gooden. He beat Herman and went choo-choo, motherfucker. So that was cool. Now we got Big Train Tom Nolan here. I'm on board. That was pun unintended, but very intended. Yeah, he, much like I said, whoever, John Silva, if you put DraftKings stats to his DWCS fight, would have only scored 70. Big Train would have scored 117 and about 19 points a minute in his first 2-minute KO under someone named Bogdan Grad. Meanwhile, Nicolas Motta, up and down, lost that fight to Trey Ogden, even though it says no contest, beat Cameron Van Camp for his one win in the UFC, but has been absolutely demolished by Jim Miller. shout out Jim Miller, and Manuel Torres getting beat within 2 minutes of the very first round. So I don't know much about this one. It's probably a good fight to target for GPPs. One guy is probably going to go to sleep. Tom Nolan has 6 career fights overall, so you're about to pay $9,200 for a guy that probably has 10 minutes in the cage. And Nicolas Motta, my God, if he could even last 10 minutes in the cage, that would be a miracle. So take one of these guys or play both of them. I guess I'm going to pick Tom Nolan. I really don't know. It's another 50-50 coin flip, in my opinion. Normally I'd be on the underdog here, but Motta has just looked so atrocious, man. So atrocious. I don't give any stock to that Cameron Van Camp win. I think even Andre Fiallo beat Cameron Van Camp, so that gets no stock. Give me Tom Nolan, probably by finish.
Yeah, again, I don't need to rehash a bunch of it. Motta was losing the last fight before a referee mistake bailed him out. Paying a lot of juice for a 6-0 fighter, but he's active. He's also a giant. One thing we didn't mention, he's much bigger than Nicolas Motta. He's going to tower over
true.
him. Much bigger guy.
6'3"?
Something like that. He's big. So I think Motta. I think Nolan wins. I'll mix in a little bit of Motta because I'd rather play him rather than Bolanos or Arlovski and Bautista. Like I'll mix in a little bit, or Lapilus, I should say. Even Felipe Bunes or Bunes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
absolutely
fine secondary option, even though I think he probably gets killed. Kind of splitting hairs this week. It's all about lineup construction this week. Play
pumpkin-headed guy, Nicolas Motta, also.
God. Good old Pumpkinhead.
Giant Heed. Name that movie. Looks like an orange on a toothpick.
Oh, it's Austin Powers.
You know it. No, So I Married an Axe Murderer. You were there.
Yeah, yep.
You get half credit.
Half credit. Mike Myers. It's all the same. They're all the same characters.
Like Sputnik.
Anywhere from Fat Bastard to Wayne Campbell. Shout out if you're that old.
Yeah.
God, I just dated myself.
Yeah, me too.
Oh man, Wayne. I gotta go watch Wayne's World. I gotta go do that.
You never have?
No, I gotta rewatch.
Yeah,
it's worth rewatch.
Mm-hmm.
But let's put a bow on things with the last fight of the evening, first fight of the night, last fight of the podcast. Joshua Van, he's 8,800, taking on Felipe Bunes. I still don't know how to say his last name. I looked it up earlier, but that was like an hour ago, and I forgot because fuck him. He's 7,400. Van is minus 250. Felipe Bunes is plus 210. I can admit that I've gotten Joshua Van wrong a few times, and I am now coming around. I'm not going to make this mistake anymore. The volume and pressure and toughness he has, too much for Felipe Bunes, in my opinion. I came back in his last fight, I believe. Just the volume and pressure. I said it all up front. I think Bunes needs to find takedowns. I don't think he can. I like my wrestlers, but I don't think he's going to get Van down. I think he's going to eat a shit ton of volume. And, give me Joshua Van here pretty comfortably. I like Van. What was the odd again? Minus 250. I think it's fine for a parlay piece. I said that a couple times. If you want to put those two together, I like Van quite a bit in the spot. Monk, what do you got? Last fight?
I'm going to pick the opposite. I'm going to go Bunes, if you will.
Boo hiss.
Nothing.
You said you didn't have any dogs. You picked like 4 of them.
No, I picked 3. This is my third. I had Bunes and Hawes, and I forgot the third one that Parsons kind of crept in there somehow. He crept on in my list. I was on Van for the Jalgas fight, and he looked good. Only scored 80 points. I was on Van for the Borges fight, and he looked good. Scored 106. I think Bunes is probably better than Borges. And I think
Borges is good.
He has a wrestling game. And I don't know if he's going to get it off, man. Like I'm not confident in this. I have a feeling if Van, gets the win here, then I'm not off of Van, but just in this fight specifically, I like the $7,400 price tag opportunity and potential for Felipe Bunes, if you will. I just like the price tag. I will have some of Van for sure. Scored again, like I said, very well in a decision. In a flyweight decision, he put up 106, guys. That's pretty rare. He scored 156 significant strikes plus 2 takedowns. Didn't do much with the takedowns, but that's still 10 points right there. Without that, he's only at 96. So I'm not trying to slight him. My outright pick is going to be Bunes, but I am going to play both sides of this fight in GPPs. I don't know if I like Van for cash, but I think Bunes is a decent, not even a punt play, but a low-owned, low-salaried kind of play for cash. I think he can go to decision either way, and even if he loses, I think Bunes can score okay if he lands a couple of takedowns.
I mean, if he gets a takedown, sure. For sure.
Mm-hmm. Big if. I know. Big if.
All right, guys. Kill shots. Let's talk kill shots. If you don't know what a kill shot is, first hit the like button and welcome. They are under-owned plays where you get leverage to win a tournament. So Johnny Walker is not a kill shot, even though he's an underdog, because everyone's going to be on Johnny Walker. Got to be different. Got to be cute. Mine's easier because I only picked one dog, so I'm going to go first. I'm taking Mateus Nicolau as my kill shot. Monk, which one you picking?
I'm going to start the year off risky. I'm going to go with the guy I just talked about, Felipe Bunes, making his UFC debut. I think I've pronounced his name 4 different ways somehow since we started talking about him. But it could be. I think it's Bunes. It wasn't Diego Lopes, and we found out it was Amanda Nunes. I don't know what's going on in Brazil. I need to maybe get down there, have some acai, figure out the pronunciations.
Portuguese is shitty.
Yeah,
I can say Magomed Ankalaev and I was one of the first ones on Habib Nurmagomedov and Magomed Sharipov, all those.
And Jacek.
Yep. Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I can say all those names. I can do all the Eastern European, Russian names. You give me a Portuguese name, I go, oh, fuck. There's an R in there that I have to roll and shoot myself in the head. I don't know what to do.
I met a guy from Portugal. From Brazil, rather. He was visiting, and I was like, I'm going to talk to this dude about UFC, and he was like, or jiu-jitsu, and he was like, no, I don't watch that. I'm too old. I was like, God damn it. I had an opportunity, and you don't even fucking watch it.
You should have looked right at him and gone, ooh, vai madeira.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know that. I know you are going to die in Portuguese.
Face would have been, I couldn't even imagine.
That is what I've learned because they're sick people.
Right. Did I pick? Yeah, I did. Bunes is my pick.
Bunes. Felipe. I swear I looked it up and it's totally gone. Totally out of sight, out of mind. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, had some fun while we talk some fights. Hit the like button if you want more content from DFS Army. Link down below. Sniper20 is Sniper. Get you 10% off. You get access to the Discord. We're talking fights all the time. We're sweating fights. There's cheat sheets. There's an optimizer. There's scoring systems. There's tons of shit. One of us gets to play wrong. You can tell us we suck ass because that just is part of the job.
Yep.
And I made just side note. It's going to be NBA, but this is just the kind of stuff I get to deal with, and I accept it. It is what it is. So I picked Dorian Finney-Smith today to get 1 steal. Dude gets 3 fouls in the first half, plays 12 minutes, and then plays 2 minutes of the first half and leaves the game sick.
Oh my God!
And people are sliding in my people are sliding in my DMs telling me you suck. That pick sold. I'm like, did you watch the game? How am I supposed to handicap 14 minutes? I don't know.
Yeah, but clearly they didn't watch the game.
But there's plenty of times I've made picks that just eat shit because they eat shit and it's high variance stuff, but it's fun. And in the long run, we do make plenty of money.
I was going to say, we're still on the heels of a couple weeks ago of you with a mega hit. 6 picks.
That's right. It's $50 into 5,000. That was fun. And the MMA
posting about it.
Yep. That was
not your name because they're assholes.
That's true. And then MMA, I think, was it last month I took first and second in the $5 for, I don't know.
Yep.
6,700 and change. So all good. It all works out in the long run. If you're new to DFS, which I don't think anybody still listening at this point is new to DFS, there's going to be ups. There's going to be downs. Do the bankroll management shit, or you're going to be tilting. And I'll be here to listen to you tilt and tell me I suck. And maybe I'll say something mean back if I've been drinking. Who knows?
There we go.
It'll be fun. So anyway, all kinds of good shit in the Discord. We'll see you guys there. Monk, I'm sure I'm going to be talking to you on Saturday. Oh, I forgot to tell you since we're here, you went to UFC Houston, right? Was it Houston?
Austin. Yeah, Austin.
I have my next UFC trip scheduled. End of March, UFC Atlantic City.
It's depending on how my first couple of months go, I might see you there.
Really?
I got people out in Philly, so
do it. I'm going to be there.
We might have to meet up if we'll see how the first couple months go.
All right.
We'll hope. It's been brought up to me. We'll just say that it's been brought up.
So if you want a Kill Shot podcast meetup, UFC Atlantic City, plan it out. So there you go, guys. But good talking to you as always. Glad to be back. Glad to got.
Hell yeah.
What was I doing on my Thursday nights, my Saturdays? Big holes in my schedule, but they're filled now. We will see you guys next time. Good luck in those contests.